Good evening and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to KMCA Entrepreneurship Club's first fireside chat. This is your host, Anoop Mohamed. For the uninitiated, KMCA was founded in 2015 with the primary objective of uniting Muslims of Kerala descent residing in the San Francisco Bay Area, forging a strong and supportive community. Over the years, KMCA has been able to organize and host a diverse range of social and charitable events, which have left a positive impact on people across various parts of the globe. The Entrepreneurship Club is the latest in the series of new initiatives by KMCA. We are fortunate to have individuals who possess valuable expertise from their experience in the United States, Middle East, and India. Harnessing their wisdom and leadership, we aim to provide a platform that nurtures aspirations of budding entrepreneurs. Our approach to this initiative comprises of two distinct streams. The first is dedicated to empowering high school and college students, equipping them with essential skills like financial literacy, helping them understand market dynamics, and helping them with the art of conceptualizing and launching small-scale projects. Our ultimate goal is to sow the seeds of entrepreneurship within the younger generation, fostering a spirit of innovation that will endure for the rest of their lives. The second caters to those in the tech sector, brimming with innovative ideas, seeking to connect with seasoned mentors who have navigated similar paths. We also plan to partner with other groups fostering entrepreneurship in the San Francisco Bay Area. I would also like to thank our partners, Bay Muslim Media. Bay Muslim Media stands as the pioneering platform linking Muslim communities across the Bay Area and beyond, cutting across organizational and geographical boundaries. Collaborating with both Muslim and interfaith organizations, Bay Muslim Media have fostered harmony and unity through a diverse array of programs spanning religion, social issues, technology, cuisine, and culture. Let's meet the startup featured on our show today. GenExcel stands as a trailblazer in reshaping the realm of learning. Emerging from the roots of genes and you, this platform harnesses the power of cutting-edge genomics technology to craft an AI-driven tutoring and mentoring application. The hallmark of GenExcel lies in its ability to customize the learning journey, a direct result of individuals' distinct genetic profile. While initially catering to global students under 21, the platform's aspirations stretch even further, envisioning lifelong education and mentoring as a part of its trajectory. We have two of the founders with us. Dr. Zulfiker Ali, a physician by profession, is a visionary in the field of emergency medicine and genomic research. As a founder and head of emergency medicine at Pariyaram Medical College and senior consultant at various other hospitals in India, his expertise spans pediatrics, emergency care, and critical care. With roles like chairman of Genes and You Biotech and GenExcel.ai, he's also a dean of Institute of Genomic Medicine. He's been a leader and has been a recipient of multiple awards for his commitment to medicine and social welfare. Dr. Zulfiker has joined us from India today. Mustafa Saidalavi, a technologist by profession with a focus on projects that have impact on wider and underprivileged masses, is our next co-founder and serves as the CEO of GenExcel. His past entrepreneurial ventures have spanned the globe and is a recipient of multiple US patents. Notably, he champions child online protection and has worked closely with organizations like Interpol, FBI, UNICEF, and founded the DISC Foundation that addresses online child safety issues. His work earned recognition from the US, the UN, EU, and other media outlets, and has established himself as a sought-after authority on child online safety. Dr. Zulfiker and Mustafa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having us here. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I've come across your articles on GenExcel and various Indian publications, specifically Hindustan Times and a few others. And that definitely piqued my interest. And on a personal note, I've been a member of 23andMe, Ancestry, and Family Tree DNA. And so genomics is very close to my heart. Interestingly, I've found a lot of relatives all across the world. So it's a field that I keep tab on, and I'll watch it very closely. So your mission looks pretty novel. So, if you don't mind, would you like, can you elaborate on the core concept of GenExcel.ai and how it leverages genomics for lifelong tutoring and learning?
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to interact with you all. As you mentioned, we are living in a world of knowledge revolution, especially the millennium babies, where we'll call as the persons who born after 2000, and we do have babies which we will call as post-COVID babies or babies born after COVID-19. So the concept of education, concept of learning and mentoring is different from generation to generation. We are having a monotonous education system existing in the world that we are giving the training, skills development all together for the group of person, where average people will be there, more talented will be there, and less talented people will be there. So it will be a fine experience if you can identify the innate talent of a child or inherent talent of a child by looking, by mapping the genomic history or genomic reports. What are the skills this child will be having? What are the talent which will be excellent for these babies? Like this, if you know each and every person's genetic details, especially talent details, it will be much easier to develop a personalized educational system which can be very well useful for the children. That is why we learn this procedure of understanding the innate talent by genomic mapping and routing to a system where generative AI and other mode of modern educational system, if you integrate this together, it will be a revolution in the field of education, especially for babies, new children, etc. Because they know how to manage the things well, especially small kids. As a pediatrician, I am looking for 1-year-old child is able to manage the YouTube, and they can take their own videos, rhymes, etc. in an excellent way. So if you can train these babies according to the genomic talent or the innate talent, we can excel them to a higher level, and which will be bypassing the existing system in a nice way. We can cutting short the unwanted years, unwanted training, etc. by giving exact training to the genomic talents and inherited talent. That is the idea behind GenExcel.
Yeah, thank you. So adding the technical part of the GenExcel, we will be bringing the cutting edge artificial intelligence. Which we are talking today. Everyone is talking about AI, and the AI is really conquering the IT world. So we will be bringing the cutting edge AI tools, AI systems to generate the content based on the genetic analysis, genetic profile. So it is a combination of genetics and genomics as well as the AI. That's what all about GenExcel.ai. So this is going to revolutionize the new education system. Thank you.
Sounds like a very noble effort, helping kids and parents plan their courses better, and maybe helping, in fact, kids, saving them from potentially stifling courses and careers, right, and ultimately leading to a happier life. Before I move on to the next question, I want to remind the audience that we'll be setting aside last 15 to 20 minutes for questions. So please do send them in. We'll be addressing that towards the last 15 minutes. So, what was your trigger, Dr. Zulfi? What is your trigger or inspiration? At what point did you decide that this is a problem worth solving?
Around 5 years back, I was attending a conference in Singapore where the medicine, emergency medicine, pediatric, etc. Lots of persons from various part of world came to that conference, and I happened to meet a South Korean counterpart of mine who knows me very well. And while discussing the students' talent, etc., he introduced me that we are doing a genomic mapping for this talent search, etc. I was wondering that what they are doing that. Then he explained regarding the sports talent or the genomic talent in sports and athletics, etc. Then he told me we are picking up children by genomic assessment and we are training accordingly. As his example was the flexibility gene. There is a gene for flexibility. If somebody is having a flexibility gene more expressing flexibility gene, these persons will be more brighter in gymnastics, swimming, etc. Then lastly, he told me that that is why we are getting excellent results in Olympics and all other international sports events. So this was an exciting thing, and I asked him, "Why don't you publish this data to the international community?" Then he told me that then you people will be the masters of all these Olympics and sports event because you are having more human resources in India. And if you do all these tests from Indian population, you will get more creamy and more brighter person, and then you can overcome the small countries like us. It was a very inspiring and explosive thought for me. Then I started searching what is happening in the genomic world and found out that many of the genetic engineers, scientists, even in India, knows that these are there. So we thought of integrating these genetic engineers, genomic scientists, clinicians, academicians, and sports persons and government authority together. We can do more and more things, not only in the sports alone, in the academics, mathematics, science, creativity, IT, and many other areas we can explore according to this genomic talent. And we started a company called GenExcel.ai biotechnology company in India, and we did wonderful pilot studies as well as persons who are interested. We did the test and we gave counseling, and it was found to be an excellent result. That was a triggering force or inspiring force for us.
Yeah. So just to add the generative AI part in last year, we used to discuss with the Dr. Zulfiker about this project, and we want to bring a kind of recurring model. How can we utilize the report is generated, but what can we do with that particular report in order to come up with a better model? So in December, the ChatGPT comes out, and we were talking about the LLM and generative, and I never expected it will be an explosion like ChatGPT. So when the ChatGPT comes, then we found, yeah, sky is the limit now, or even not sky is the limit today, because a generative and LLM together with the genomics, we should be in a better position to come up with more and more products like this. So that's our inspiration. Thank you.
Very interesting. So let's get back to the company now. So for any successful enterprise, right, there are 3 P's. The people, process, and the platform or the technology. Let's talk about your people. Let's talk about your co-founders. What are the complementary skills that they bring to the table? Who all are involved now?
Okay, while started our company in India, we do have a good team of genomic scientists and genetic engineers like Dr. Amul Rawat from Pune. He's one of the founders in our team, and Dr. Gauri Rawat, along with Dr. Hasib, is a genetic engineer and CEO of GenExcel.ai biotechnology company. Dr. B. Srinath, Dr. Fahad, as well as our Muhammad Mustafa Saidalavi. He is the CEO of GenExcel.ai also. So this type of lots of mentors, lots of advisors, both genetic engineers, genomic scientists, clinicians, nutritionologists, along with education team, IT experts are within our team.
Okay, nice, very good. So, Mustafa, just from the numbers alone, the India numbers itself is staggering when it comes to addressable market. So, what's the worldwide market you're looking at? What's the market opportunity?
Right. So if you look at the recent publishing from Yahoo Finance and the other financial institutions about the education app market growth from 2022 to 2027, it is expected to have 124 billion US dollar. So 124 billion US dollar market growth, which we are the total, the market growth, and we expected to assume an 80 percentage of the particular market growth, which is we are expecting to have 99 billion, about 100 billion US dollar total addressable market. Now this is up to us to decide what share we want to take it from this. If we are equipped, if you have enough capacity to tap that particular maybe 1%, 2%, that quite billion-dollar market. That's exactly we are looking into.
So this whole edtech market in India, right, that's exploded in the last few years, and you see, especially in the edtech, I know you have something unique about yourself, but the whole edtech, this overlaps a bit in the edtech, but the whole edtech space has gone through the roof in India. So who would are there competitors in the current scenario? Who would be if so, who would be your closest competitor?
Um, as you rightly see with the introduction, we are approaching this as a novel project. It is something very new, and no one yet tried the genomics and the AI part in the education sector so far, as my best knowledge. So we don't see a direct competition, but we definitely have nearest competition, which is Byju's app and Vedanti and VIP Kids Teach and all those, education apps. Okay, so everybody now talking about Byju's apps collapse. It's not because of the product. It's not because of their content. It's not because of their technology. It's all about the mismanagement. We already know that, and I don't want to get into that. But those product gap is also there. Every parents are already using the education app. Now they don't have something, so we can immediately get in there. So we are not another education app. We are a personalized education app using genomics and AI. So we definitely have the USP in that space. So yeah, these are our competitors.
Okay, yeah. So let's get into the process side a bit, right? The second P. So can you explain what the screening process is? What are the methodologies used? How do you plan to do? And how do you plan to gather and analyze this data?
Okay. Usually, this genomic mapping can be done by taking blood or saliva. But being children, we are taking a non-invasive method by taking saliva of the children. We will collect a small amount of saliva from the child after getting informed consent from the parent as well as informing the child. We are testing this. We are sending to our lab in a specific container which will be having some solutions to protect and prevent it. After that, in our laboratory, first process is we will be extracting the DNA from the saliva. After this extraction of DNA, we will be using the latest technologies like microarray technology and other technologies, and we will identify or we will recognize the specific genes which will be connected with the talent, nutrition, as well as child health and academic sports, etc. We will be gathering the genes, and with the help of our softwares, internationally accepted softwares, bioinformatics software, we will be analyzing the genetic part, and our genetic engineers will be studying with in detail, and we are making a result on what are the things, what are the expressing genes, what are the positive aspects, what are the so-called negative aspects, all we will be evaluating. And after that, the process is going to have an educational arena and AI-based generative AI, etc. I think that will be explained by Mr. Mustafa.
Yeah, thank you. That's quite descriptive, doctor. So, once we got the genomics data, then the AI part gets started. The AI part is to identify the genomics data, taking the genome information, and using the curriculum, the existing curriculum. I must say that we are not going to disrupting the existing educational system. We are going to complement the current education system. So one couple of discussion happened, should we disrupt or should we complement? So we decided not to disrupt, because it is an existing system. It is not easy to disrupt. So we definitely going back to support the education system. So we have the psychometric analysis from the gene, and on top of that we will be conducting some sort of psychometric analysis in order to wrap and clean the data. So we have the profile of the child now using the generative AI and the existing curriculum. We will be developing very personalized batch of content that will be helping the parents and teacher and the children to maneuver their education journey. So what will happen? You will have a piece of information which is getting delivered to the child, and definitely through the parents, through the teacher, and directly us. This is a combined hybrid model. So when the child learn that, child will respond to those questions or those analysis which we are doing. And once we get the feedback, we will do the RHLF, that is called reinforcement learning based on the human feedback. That is a AI terminology. So we will again train the model. Okay, the child is responding this way. So next portion of the content will be based on that. So it is continuously evolving based on the human feedback. So tomorrow, if the child maybe he got a different kind of capacity to learn in a different way, so the system will adapt to that. It's not that one time we do and it's set for forever. No, it will be continuously evolving process. That's the process we'll be talking about.
Got it. So how do you ensure the accuracy and authenticity of this information that you collect?
Regarding the accuracy, genomic testing are done in the international standard guidelines. Most of the labs will be having the international golden standards they are keeping for this. So that is why more than 99% of accuracy in each and every genomic test we are getting, because this is an on-time test. It's an on-time test. It will not vary. It will not change accordingly. So if you can, if you do have any doubt regarding this, the same test can be done from some other lab or some other services. It will be the same. So the accuracy is correct. But human errors, like when interpreting, or we are taking some samples, international samples, or standard deviation of the group, what are the groups we are telling, Asian population or American population or international population, there may be some deviation from this part. It is in the interpretation alone, not in the genomic part. But when recognizing in a scientific method, we are getting data from the international genomic pool, which is grown after the project launched by Human Genomic Project. So it will be very easy. So it is very accurate, and we can depend on the reports.
Yeah.
So Mustafa, because you're dealing with kids, right? There are other stakeholders that you need to engage with, like parents, the current teachers, and maybe with sports, the coaches. So how do you plan to work with all these stakeholders, and then how are you going to make them trust your platform?
Yeah. So that's a very crucial question, actually, Anoop. Thank you for asking that, because a lot of questions, particularly when I'm in US. US parents, the US way of thinking about the privacy, about this kind of new concept is bit sensitive. So definitely we need to, as I said, we are not disrupting. We are going to engage into the existing system. We'll be complementing and helping the teachers, parents, and the education, providers and counselors, whomever it is. We will be helping them. This will be their hand tool to provide education system. So what will happen is we'll be conducting a lot of webinars and seminars and conferences and brainstorming sessions. We'll be involving a lot of scientists and experts around the world in order to come on our platform and advise us the way forward. So definitely conducting webinars and workshops and seminars for the parents and the teachers. That is one way of reaching out. Another way is definitely through the government. So we are in discussion with a couple of government. I don't want to just mention the name of the government at the moment because it is on top of an NDA, but we are in discussion with the governments. So the certain governments want to conduct our program once we are ready as a national level. So in that way, I don't think it is very difficult for us to reach out to the end stakeholders because government will take care about it. So that's another way of doing it. Definitely scientific advisory body, UN advisory body, the global, a lot of bodies around the world. I already had a discussion with many of them in couple of events and programs, and even I'm directly reached out. So all are super excited. All what they want to know is, number one is privacy, which we will discuss in a while, and another one is to make sure the accuracy, which doctor is already explained, and definitely this is an innovation project, will grow together. That's what we get the support from these agencies. So this is how we planning to reach out to the public.
Okay, so explain to us about this transparency that you mentioned, and how do you plan to foster the transparency for trust?
Oh yeah, that's a very crucial point again. So fundamentally, I would say our data will be very crucial. So if after the defense data, the healthcare data in US is the most crucial and sensitive data classified. This is what my best understanding. Why? Because people care, people are very concerned about it, particularly from US perspective. So what will happen is, let's say, for example, you have your credit card, Visa or MasterCard lost 1 million credit card number. Let's say, for example, okay. So for the impact of this particular disaster is, yes, there is an impact, but it's not a big impact. Well, as soon as master identified, okay, this 1 million cards are blocked, it's one script, they can block all the cards, the impact is gone. Definitely there will be a financial impact, there will be a lot of trial and all those things. They can address it later. But we know that our data, if we lost our data, it's very crucial. So this is why we are in discussion with world-class cybersecurity specialists and scientists, I would call, to protect our data in such a way that the data is stored in pseudonymization model, where the genomics data and the personal data is completely in different vault, and the link between these two data is the key is with the user. So only the user will identify the data, the link between the personal data and the genomics data. Worst scenario, let's say, for example, if our data is lost, that somebody compromised into a system and took the data, it's just a crap data, someone's genomics information, and that's all. The person is not linked to that. That's a crucial part. Definitely we will engage all sort of world-class cutting edge cybersecurity measures, which we can do. I'm a cybersecurity expert, and I'm sure that Anoop also know today it is not a big deal. It is a deal, but it's not a big deal. We can marry those principles. It's not a very difficult part. So having that on top of this, let's say, even if the data is lost, we still will be able to protect the identity. That's and we will publish our entire process, entire the architecture in such a way that, if someone look at that, oh, this is how the data is stored, this is how the data is used, this is how the data is analyzed, all those information will be on a public domain. Yeah, that's the principle we'll be approaching.
Okay, interesting. So you plan to detach the identity of the person from the actual data.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in terms of legal compliance, right? US is pretty strict about it, right? And there's a lot of compliance hurdles that you need to overcome, especially when you're dealing with PII. And
Yeah.
genetic information is as PII as it can get. So how do you plan to address this compliance concerns?
When I look at this, it's difficult, but it's very easy, I would say. Easy in the sense it is straightforward. Okay. So you have acts such as HIPAA Act in US, GDPR in Europe, and you have specific acts such as Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act in US. So those acts are easily available, and there are companies who helping us to do that particular standardization. So all what you need to do, make sure your system is compliant to be part of this particular act, and that's all. So HIPAA, GINA, and as well as the informed consent and data encryption and security, all those existing models are there, and this is not something which we are doing alone. So 23andMe, there are many genomics companies doing the same thing. So how are they? We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We just have to adopt that, tweak it in such a way that we must be able to, be a little bit further to them and go on. So it is difficult, but it's not, very difficult. We can do that.
Okay. Yeah. So before I move on to my next question, I want to remind the audience, for those who came in late, we'll be setting aside some time for questions in a bit. So, send in your questions, and, Dr. Zulfiker and Mustafa will be answering those. So, Dr. Zulfi, my next question will be about ethical concerns, right? There's a lot of question on people's mind about genetic manipulation and its implications, right? So, how do you plan to address this? Because if fallen into the wrong hands, what happens?
It's a very important issue. Ethical issue is a very important national and internationally we are addressing. But last 4 years, when we were start discussing this ethical concern will come. But nowadays, recently, this blockchain technology and encryption technology, etc., that Mr. Mustafa explained, came to the notice in the entire healthcare data, especially the genomic data. Nobody can identify or nobody can personalize or identify whom this gene. It is basically it is we will call as raw data. Raw data.
Mhm.
So this raw data will be transferred from the person to the bioinformatics software, etc. So if you are getting a raw data, nothing can be done. Lots of things will be there. He is having some tendency for diabetes. He is very good in sports. His mathematical ability is excellent, or his language proficiency is less, etc. We don't know who is this. So recently, last week, one of my friend who is associated with GenExcel sent his report, sent his raw data, which was done from a genomic lab in US to us. He want to compare the both reports, how it comes, and quality wise also. Then we got this raw data. We prepared our bioinformatic software and genomic engineers prepared our report, and we sent to him. We don't know whose report is this. We don't know his race or another things. There will be on number. That number, as Mr. Mustafa mentioned, that should be remind or that should get reminded by the person himself, just like passwords and other things. If somebody lost or forgot this data, he should have to repeat the test again. That is the so that is why we do have ethical committee and we do have international advisory board on that, and specifically for children, etc. This will be kept unknown and unnoticed with the available technology which is internationally accepted, and our team of IT experts and cyber security experts are working on that, and we can ensure that patient or person's autonomy and integrity will be kept and will not be lost at any cost. This ethical clearance will be adopted as in majority of the genome company, especially our company is very much concerned about this ethics and security affairs, and will be associated with that our ethics.
Very good, very good. So, as a natural segue, right? I'm assuming there's a genomics-based healthcare and wellness also coming in, because that's most of the companies in the genomic space do that. So I'm assuming there's a way you can tie in the health and wellness as well into this. Do you have any such plans?
Uh, it is the genomics, especially, it is classified in two broad areas. Where clinical genomics, you may be knowing that identifying the cancer genes and etc. We will be having a good old story of Angelina, a film star who's found to be having her mother found to be having BRCA, breast cancer related genes presence of this. She did predictive genomics or preventive genomics. She assessed their genomic status and found that she had the tendency, or she might have developed in further course. What she did before developing the breast cancer, she removed her breast prophylactically before getting the cancer, and processes were applied. So that is a world where genomics can be applied in clinical area, where what we are doing is predictive genomics, or we are assessing the genomic tendencies. What are the competent genes, or what are the genes that can be expressed after years and years, especially diabetes, hypertension, stroke, and many other diseases, lifestyle diseases we can predict. But the problem is the person can develop only after 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or even that cannot be notified or noticed in his lifetime, but it will be there. Even more other things like that. The wellness, what we will call as wellness genomics, and there is another entity called pharmacogenomics. You may be aware that some persons, even with the international standard hospitals, dies in the operation table while doing some surgeries. Nobody can do anything. All the CPR, ECMO, and many other resuscitative measures, patients are dying. By analyzing the genomic standards of these persons, it is identified that certain drugs which are used for anesthesia, especially ketamine, halothane, some volatile gases, which cannot be given as test dose, what we are doing in injections. So, if somebody is giving these anesthetic agents, acute reactions, adverse reactions, or severe anaphylaxis reaction and death can occur. So, if you know the pharmacogenomics well for this patient, this death can be prevented. So, that is the beauty, or that is the importance of pharmacogenomics, which is also a part of preventive or predictive genomics. Likewise, when we are coming to the talent genomics or skill-based genomics or sports genomics, etc., we can identify what are the important point or what are the core genes interested in this. Mathematical ability is one of the things. When I did my talent genomics, my mathematical ability is very less. That may be why I became a doctor rather than going becoming an engineer. Like that, creativity genes. It's a very important gene which will be useful for architects, artists, musicians, all other creative words. So this creativity gene and sports, athletic genes and endurance and physical sport, many genes were identified in student life. Likewise, I'll add one more things. While developing a curriculum or a pattern for academic level, we should know how these children are engaged with their activities. There are genes which will explain that what time they can study with good concentration. It may be a light night study, it may be an early morning study, or a midday study. So that is genomically defined. If your child's inborn talent is light night study, you need not force him to study early morning and before subah, etc. You need not compel him. His genetic pattern is to study in the light night. So you should have to go there. Like that, the learning mechanism, which is very, very important in practical life of schooling. Learning mechanism, if you tell your child to draw a car, three ways this your child will be responding. He'll be memorizing a good BMW car in the street. He'll draw that picture, and he'll be having a toy car. He may be remembering his toy car and draw a picture, and he may be having attention of a picture or a photograph of a 2D picture of a car. He'll be drawing this 2D. So these three things are determined by three various genes. If you identify that, you may be knowing that text memory and page memory, which will be in our schooling or college days, we'll be thinking of page memory. Oh, that point is in the 412 page, that is in the right hand or left corner, etc. We'll be remembering and writing this. This is genomically detected, can be detected. So if this memory is text memory, he can learn more. That is why this IT and computing is with the text, not with images. Images will be having more MBs and more bytes. So like that, we can schedule. That is why if you assemble this genomics to AI technology, generative AI, your child will be much far better. And if you are training him for 10 years, within 6 months, everything will be learned by him. That is the beauty of combining the genomics with AI. That is why in genomic world, genomic scientists and we people tell that just like Chat GPT in IT, genomics will be the next generation modern medicine, which can be useful in healthcare as well as schooling. That is why we are telling that next generation schooling should start with genomics.
Just want to add one point to that, Dr. Added. So the idea of GenExcel is excelling with gene and AI. That's exactly one single word. So the first part is definitely the school and education system, and the genomics is the foundation, and you will be able to add as many as components on in future. So as we grow, we will be definitely going with the sports genomics, we'll be going with the health genomics, we'll be going with the all parts, whatever we can add into this study, because we know the data, we know the gene, we know the people are with us. So however we can excel a person by their health, by their education, whatever, we will be keep on adding that.
Okay, very nice. So what kind of partnerships or collaborations are you considering, if you need to take this to the next level?
Yeah, so I will take that question, because we will be definitely should have partnership with genomics research centers, as well as individuals, as well as the governments, schools, education institutions, and definitely when it comes to AI part, we will be in discussion. We'll be in collaborating with the AI experts around the world, because that's why I am right over here in Silicon Valley to establish this company in Silicon Valley, where I am in the place where our Zuckerberg, the Tesla owner who started PayPal, where exactly I am in that particular location. So a couple of discussion I had with the AI experts around the world, scientists around the world, who's from Google, who's from Microsoft, who's from. I explained, the concept. They all said, "Wonderful, this is beautiful, but you have to take care about the privacy part, which we already doing it." So that's a collaborative part from the technical side. Now, definitely, we are doing. We are in the pre-seed stage. We are not even started the seed stage. We are in the pre-seed early stage of the second part of the development. The first part, Genes and You, is already done since 2020, which is a company, a running company. Now the next part is the GenExcel, which is the pre-seed stage. So we are bringing a team of people from the community. We talk to various people around the USA and Dubai and India. They all want to be part of this particular project. So we said, come over. We not only have the funding, we also have your expertise and advisors and all. So it will be in the pre-seed stage. It will be kind of a crowdsourcing, and we'll be having that information. So whomever is interested, reach out to us. We will explain to you how you can be part of this project, and you can be part of this innovative next unicorn from the Silicon Valley. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. So I think we are at time. It's about time that we took questions from the audience. So question from the audience. How much does it cost, and where's the testing done? Is it in the US or elsewhere? Is one question.
Right. The costing part is yet to be decided, definitely. But Dr. Zulfiker will be able to talk about what is happening from the Indian side, how much we are charging for the testing and all. But we are looking to bring down the cost by bulk and mass, diagnostics. Doctor, can you add what we are doing in India? And I will talk about the USA, how we'll do.
In India, we are doing this entire genomic mapping in our company, and we are taking the part of talent from that data alone. So now we are charging India along with this testing, with the post-test counseling and the following of our company is charging 25,000 Indian rupees in India. But as Mr. Mustafa mentioned, we are coming with newer and newer technologies, and with the support of these technologies, this price can be reduced and crashed to a very affordable level that we are doing for some other challenged children, etc. So the idea is, if you can do this bulk test in a bulk manner, because most of this time it will be a unit of 24 tests. So if you can do these tests together, the cost will be very much reduced. If you are doing 2, or 3, etc., that will be cost convert. That is why, as a team from a school, or from on communities giving samples together, and we can crash the course. And with this testing and AI part and our team, our cost and our thing will be after this next phase, and we will discuss in further settings.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it. That cannot be determined right now, but we will ensure that will be affordable, that will be cutting edge. No worry about it. We'll do that.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question from the audience is, how do parents ensure that this technology is not an impediment to child's natural development?
Okay. This comes. I was planning to explain the first itself. This on child's character or behavior or talent, or how this child's life is determined by natural factors and nurturing factors. natural factors and nurturing factors. Natural factors are genomic part, and what this child is getting from these ancestors, parents, and etc. Another one is nurturing part, what we are planning to do. So without interfering anything from the any natural things, we are just identifying that what are the tendencies, or what are the characters, or what are the issues in the genomically for this child. So if you identify, you need not disclose everything to your child, or we will not disclose everything to the even to the parents. We are mentoring that this child is having some need some assistance from this. Especially we are doing along with that, we are doing nutrigenomics also. Some children with anemia, low hemoglobin, will be having problems in learning. Some children with folic acid deficiency will be having problems in neurological characters. Some children with B complex or vitamin B12 and some other, they will be having problems in learning. So we will supplement whatever needed for the natural growth. We will call as epigenomics. That specialty in genetics is called epigenomics. So this epigenomics, we are giving sufficient support, natural support. Just like some of the learning problem may be stress induced. So we should have to arrange a setting in the family to reduce the stress of the person. That is why the stability in achievement is the core principle what we are planning. The stability is in achievement depends on 70% depends on hereditary or genomics. Next 25 is environmental, or the what you can copy from outside. The last 5%, 5% is with multiple factors. So our planning is to support the existing characters, genomic characters, to higher level. And we will be nurturing, we will be giving support to the downward or retarded genomic characters in a brighter way that he can explore to the limit. While we did in the challenged persons, mentally challenged persons, or children with some syndromes, what we identified that there are some skills to the child, even though he cannot write, he cannot read, he cannot behave, but some skills will be well addressed. Just like music in Down syndrome children, it is obvious. Just like music, some creativity part, some children will be having videography and some other care. If you nurture him in the childhood days, he will be a master in photography, or he will be a master in our coding, or some other coding and computing area. These mentally challenged children are having some good features. So we have to adapt that. We have to take him, and we should support him, and he can live by his own way, even though he cannot walk properly, he cannot see properly, he cannot even properly. That is why we are nurturing the natural things by identifying the genomic talents.
Thank you, Dr. Zulfiker. That was well put. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
I think there are a couple of questions.
Okay. Let's.
Someone was talking about the question.
Was, how will AI be used to create a curriculum plan B on the ability map?
Right. I mean, this is you can even test it today. You go to ChatGPT, for example, and you say, I want to teach my 8-year-old child mathematical, for example, rational numbers. I want to teach mathematical rational numbers to my 8-year-old child. Give me a script. I'm a teacher, and give me a script in order to do that. Today, the ChatGPT will give you, or kind of Bard will give you, any generative AI will give you some sort of script. Now you can further, describe in such a way. I have a child. His genetic profile is so and so, his capacity to learn mathematical ability is so and so, he is very challenging person by gene, he is very optimistic person by gene. If you can give that particular prompting model to a well-trained AI model, I'm talking about not ChatGPT, we have to build this on top of the ChatGPT. Then you say, now I want to train this particular child, rational numbers, give me a video script, for example. It will give you a script. So a couple of things have to be there. One is the existing LLM model, and on top of that, you have to train the LLM model with a new set of data, new set of information. On top of that, we will give a small model and give that particular training, test it. You will get a feedback from the child, feedback to the LLM model again, come up with a new set of data. So it is something which is continuous process of training the model. It's not one time, and it's not using the existing system. We'll be using the existing platform to do this one. So you can test it today itself. How can you do this one for that particular child or this particular child? It will give you different answers, and highly likely these answers will help you to train this. But we are converting that particular script into a video and script into the education materials, which will be helpful to teachers and parents. So it's a combined hybrid and comprehensive model. That's how we are planning to do.
Okay, thank you so much. So in the interest of time, we are almost at the top of the hour. Let's wrap up today's session. Mustafa and Dr. Zulfiker, thank you so much for your time and for the valuable insights. Good luck with your endeavor. We're all rooting for your success.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Viewers, thank you for joining. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.